She talked when she was about a year old. She walked when she was a year old. She never shut up after she started talking. She read at a college level by the time she was 9, so she knew how to argue. And she was valid sometimes. She was 5'3", and she was an MVP in basketball, and she was a point guard. And I credit that to my father. And as she grew older, she came to Amador County, kicking and screaming in junior high, and her grandpa Mike, he carried on that with her, and he got her to sports and he got her home. We met Danny when Alex was 4 years old and Jordan was about 4 months old. And luckily, through life's trials and tribulations, we've never left each other. We moved apart, but our kids still had each other, and we're still one family. And so I'm grateful to him for that. He was her dad, and he was her brother, and they loved each other endlessly. Alex was in GATE. She was really smart, like I said, so she went to GATE, and she taught children who didn't speak English well or were behind. She taught them to read. She taught them to write their names when she was in the 4th grade. When she was in the 1st grade, she took 6th grade writing classes so she could have something to do other than talk. And about junior high, me and Danny separated, and we went through this really rough time, and me and Alex was having a rough time, and she's a mean little thing. I know she's cute and smart, but she's mean. And so she was a handful in the city, so I moved her back to Amador County, kicking and screaming, like I said, and I moved her up to Cedar Pines with her grandma, so I was the devil. And but I promised her if she could stop fighting, I would bring her home. But she wouldn't stop fighting for a while, so that carried on. But I told her, when you come to Amador County, one day you'll realize that some of the best people in the world live here. And today we're all here, and you know, I have to credit this county for taking care of my baby right now. I didn't ask for anything. I asked for nothing. But I got a whole lot. So I thank each and every person who contributed to this. I thank you all for your kindness. And I'm glad that you were here to help me prove her wrong, because it's a pretty great place. And it takes a village to raise a family and a child. And I have a whole village to thank. I mean, there's quite a few people. And if I named them, I'd be here forever, but I think a lot of you know who you are. When she got through junior high, finally, she went to high school. And Alex has always been an athlete, so she played sports, but she went to high school. She made new friends, and she had a pretty tragic time when she came up here. She had lost some people, so she had spent that first year kind of into making these new friends, and sadly, we lost quite a few of them right then. So Alex went back to her normal behavior, which is mean. And there were quite a few people I have to credit for helping her. Scott and Kelly Humpkins, Joe Anushin, Lori Thomas, Elizabeth Pinotti. Her group of girls, because they never left her, and she's a hard one to stick by. And so she moved on, and she fell behind, and she was having her health all the time. And I said, you know, Alex, the only person this will affect is you. So you have a choice to give up, or you have a choice to believe in yourself. And she chose to believe in herself, and that was the one thing about her. She battled a lot of demons, and she had a lot of sad times and darkness. And I know that's hard to believe if you meet Alex, because everybody thinks she's just this larger-than-life person, and she really was. And she wanted people happy, and she was full of love, but at the same time, she was sad. And she battled a lot of her own things, and she put herself first that day. And she walked onto the basketball court, and even though she knew how to be on the bench, and that was the day she changed her life back to caring about herself. So she graduated high school and she moved on. And she married Kevin Harden. Well, when you're young and you're in love, you know it all. And they did. And, sometimes things don't work out quite like you planned, but, he was brave enough to marry her. So bless his heart. And after that, she moved on and she started having seizures, and so she was having a hard time, getting her life back. And she was kind of in this spot where nothing was happening. And it had been a while, and she couldn't drive, and she couldn't do things. And so in the last year, she was getting her life back, and she was on her way to San Francisco because she believed that San Francisco was a place for a girl like her. Wild and uninhibited, and nobody cared if you showed to dance. That kind of thing. She was full of love, and she was a hippie child, and she turned into a moon child. And her last concert, she went and seen Dead and Company with her grandma. Nobody goes, well, Johnny Lebenko. He went to Burning Man today, so we'll give him that. But she grew into a wonderful young woman with a lot of love and respect, and she worked hard. She got a job at Prospect Cellars, and she was working at Cooper Vineyards, and she was really feeling good, and she was getting to drive again. And for those who didn't know or don't know, she, according to what we know, she had a seizure while she was driving. And it had been a long time since she had had one, so that's kind of how it happened. But up until that point, that day we had went and the cops came for her because she had been in a tussle a couple weeks before that. So average Alex. We went to lunch and she went home to garden and she told me she was going to Sacramento to see Steven. That's the man she loved. And so I know she was happy. I know she was going where she was happy, and with that I find a lot of comfort. I don't want to ramble. I wish I would have wrote this down. Nonetheless, what I have to say is Alex was an incredible girl. She was fire. She was fire. She was born on one of the worst storms I've ever been in my life, and she has been fierce and something to contend with since day one. She has consumed every bit of space in the room since the minute she entered this world. I am proud to be her mom, the good, the bad, the ugly. They say, at the end of the day, you look around and you see what you have. And I mean, for a mean little girl from Oak Park, she had a whole lot of love, and I thank you guys back for the love. I want to give you guys time to speak. Hopefully her grandma will show up by the end because she wants to speak less. Oh, here she is, Grandma. Grandma has made. Oh, what I do want to say is, unfortunately, in this whole situation, Sheldon, who's my boyfriend, his son Zach was the first responder on the accident. And he got the job to come home and tell me. And he told me the story, and he said, I was supposed to walk away, but I couldn't leave her. And he's my hero for that. And I'm grateful to him because I know that nobody would have gave her more love. What do you call it? That little Dylan Littlefield. But I'm grateful to Zach. I'm grateful to Zach, and he is my hero for everything he did for my daughter that night. And I love him, and I love you all, and I thank you for being here. And I'm going to give the mic over to Augie because he's going to give us a little prayer real fast and get down. And then you guys are welcome to speak. We've been here a while, so please, don't ramble on like me if you can help it. Thank you all.